Hello and welcome to Joy Newsroom. The news is live on the Joy News channel and on DSTV channel 421. Also live on all our social media platforms as Joy News on TV. You can tweet at us. Coming up this afternoon, Professor of Finance with the University of Ghana, Godfred Bokwing, says the governor of the Bank of Ghana cannot escape blame for the poor state of the central bank as pressure mounts on BOG boss to resign. The minority in parliament says it finds it an unconscionable gross dereliction of duty that government officials in the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Finance will leave since July 2023 donated containers of HIV antiretroviral drugs at the ports, creating needless shortages for persons living with HIV. We'll hear from the ranking member on the Health Committee, who says the situation could lead to an increase in the prevalence of the HIV rate infection in Ghana. And later, after a fierce contest, Archbishop Porter Girls SHS has been kicked out of the 2023 National Science and Maths Quiz by Obriyeboa Senior High School with just a point. Details of all the stories and more coming up in the next 60 minutes. My name is Faustina Safo. Thanks for choosing us. We're your home of independent, fearless, and credible journalism. Let's settle now for details. Professor of Finance with the University of Ghana, Godfred Bokwing, says the governor of the Bank of Ghana cannot escape blame for the poor state of the central bank as pressure mounts on Dr. Ernest Addison to resign. The Bank of Ghana posted a loss of 60 billion cedis and blames it on the domestic debt exchange program by government. The NDC minority led a protest to demand the resignation of the Bank of Ghana Governor Dr. Ernest Addison, but Dr. Ernest Addison says he will not resign. At a joint news conference with the International Monetary Fund, Dr. Addison said the bank is beginning to regain its financial strength.
It has been a very comprehensive and collaborative work between the government side and the IMF. And this has made the 2-week mission very successful and fruitful, leading to the staff-level agreement today. We have all established that the very decisive measures put in place by the government and the Bank of Ghana have started yielding results, signaling a faster than expected turnaround, which needs to be sustained as we reset the economy. More specifically, non-food inflation has dropped significantly by 19 percentage points. Food inflation has also come down by about 8 percentage points. Core inflation, which measures underlying inflation, is also decelerating at a fast pace. From the beginning of the year to date, the Bank of Ghana has built reserves of about $650 million instead of the programmed drawdown of $98 million. And this has been boosted by the innovative Gold for Reserves program. And as a result, we have seen relative stability in the exchange rate, depreciating by only 2.5% between February and now.
Speaking on Newsfile, Professor Godfred Bokwing said the governor cannot escape blame for the poor state of the central bank.
Well, I had said before that in a very serious country, maybe the governor of Bank of Ghana would have resigned long ago. He doesn't have to take a demonstration. And because, so if you look at, and I'm saying this because something over the years or over the decades, in fact, since 1992, part of the macroeconomic instability we have seen in this country has largely also been supported by the central bank through accommodating monetary stand. which ultimately enables the political economy or the fiscal side to actually be reckless. To that extent, the checks and balances that one would have expected to come from the central bank. And it's for this reason that over the years, as a country, we've worked hard to generate the operational independence of the central bank. And I want to believe that the central bank, the Supreme Court would equally affirm the operational independence of the central bank, because as a horizontal accountability institution, it's good for our democracy. And therefore, whoever presides over the affairs of the central bank would have to be mindful of the fact that they are there first to protect the institutional independence. Under this circumstance, we've seen Bank of Ghana not playing that role effectively. Probably, I know that the deficit financing or net claims on the government, including overdraft and the rest of them, as at the end of 2022, was 77.6 billion cedis.
So billion, not trillion.
Yes, okay. 77.6 billion cedis. That was the amount. If you express this as a percentage of government previous year's total fiscal revenue, that was way in excess of the 5% limit.
Okay.
But something, this is a real issue. And why, and I think Honorable in your still also talked about that, why politicians would almost always prefer somebody they can manipulate to be at the central bank. Something, look at it this way. Between 2008 and then 2012, the level of deficit financing by our central bank went up by more than 600%.
A former member of parliament for Tamale Central, Yusuf Hussaini, wants the governor to show moral courage and resign.
To say that for Addison to be ensconced in his office, to say the things he said, smacks of extreme level of arrogance, or a failure to understand his duty to the people of Ghana. I choose my words carefully. To the people of Ghana, not to government. Addison has been somebody who's gone through the educational system, has invested in himself. He's worked at the international level. He knows about fidelity to the law. He knows. There cannot be justification or a breach of the law unless those justifications are provided in the criminal code or in Criminal or Other Offences Act, now so called. Now, is it justification to steal your neighbor's property on the basis of the fact that you are hungry? Is it justification? Or is it justification for an ambulance conveying a sick person to the hospital who needs medical care, knock down somebody at the traffic lights? Is it justification? And so, fidelity to the law is always very important in discharging your duties as a public officer.
He says, I want to resign.
Well, so
that's the purpose.
I agree
that he should resign, his deputy should resign. He says, I want.
Yeah, so I agree that I already anticipated that he would say he won't resign. And I know the president will not sack him because the president hasn't got that history. So even in situations where the president would have sacked, he's advised those people to resign.
You mean the president will not demand his resignation,
not
sack, because the president doesn't have the power to remove him?
The president doesn't have the power to.
It's a process.
It's a process.
That
but the president can initiate the process. You get it? The president can initiate. Why did they give the Bank of Ghana operational independence? Again, this question that you have asked is very important. And so you look at the web and you see clearly that probably there's something wrong with our governor.
Well, the National Commission on Small Arms and Light Weapons, in collaboration with the Small Arms Survey, has organized a self-assessment program to determine the extent of proliferation and the use of improvised explosive devices, a major threat to peace and security in the country. The Deputy Director and Head of Programs for Small Arms Survey, Johnson Asante-Chum, highlighted the urgent need to take steps and measures to prevent the proliferation and use of IED. There's more in this report.
Improvised explosive devices, IEDs, are explosive devices constructed and deployed in ways other than conventional military action. In recent times, there has been an expansion in the use of IEDs as weapons by armed groups and violent extremists to cause mayhem in West Africa, especially in the Sahel region. The National Commission on Small Arms and Light Weapons, in collaboration with the Small Arms Survey, is therefore conducting a self-assessment exercise to determine the extent of proliferation and use of IEDs in the country. The Deputy Director and Head of Programs for Small Arms Survey, Johnson Asante-Chum, highlights the essence of the assessment in the fight against the use of IEDs.
IEDs, or improvised explosive devices, as a major threat to the peace and security, not just of Ghana, but within the sub-region, and particularly in the context of what is happening in the Sahel area. We have seen a lot of IEDs being used, to cause mayhem in many places, in hotels, in public gatherings, and all others by extremist elements and terrorist elements. And we need to take steps here to ensure that we prevent its proliferation and its use in Ghana. First of all, we need to conduct an assessment of the state of IED proliferation in Ghana, and also the precursors. Usually when you say IEDs, it's difficult to say this is an IED unless it has been put together or has been constructed. But you need to look at the precursors. What is it that is being used, to make the IED?
He called for the need to use legislative means as precautionary measure to deal with the issue of IEDs.
You need a legislative instrument or a regulatory measure that will help you deal with it. Most times we talk, but when it comes to the issues of laws and regulation, you need it to be able to deal with it head on, because this is not just a local matter, it's an international issue as well. And therefore, when you are dealing with it, you need a robust regulation to be able to deal with it, which also require that the judicial service, the criminal justice system need to be trained on the issues to properly understand the context of improvised explosive devices and the measures that need to be taken to deal with it.
The CIED advisor for Small Arms Survey, Paul Amoroso, added that the program is seeking to engage crucial stakeholders in a bid to come up with measures to deal with IEDs.
There's multiple areas we will look at, broadly broken down into those which could be preventative in terms of stopping IED attacks, or those which we need to be best prepared to be able to respond if IED attacks do occur. So it's everything from building up the security forces, their architecture, to engaging the population, and various preventatives such as countering violent extremism, engaging such initiatives such as that.
To prevent violent extremism and terrorism from infiltrating into the country, there is a dire need to employ relevant strategies and measures to deal with possible threats from the use of IEDs. It is expected that this assessment will help Ghana develop the needed strategies to curtail its use in the country. For Joy News, Linda Enyan's report, read to you.
Well, the minority in Parliament says it finds an unconscionable gross dereliction of duty that government officials in the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Finance will since July 2023 donated containers of HIV antiretroviral drugs at the ports creating needless shortages for persons living with HIV. The minority says it is a national emergency. It's all captured in a statement they released earlier today. It's rolling on your screens right now. We'll give you details of that statement. It says that the minority in Parliament finds it unconscionable gross dereliction of duty that government officials in the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Finance will leave since July 2023 donated containers of HIV antiretroviral drugs at the ports, creating needless shortages for persons living with HIV. We move now to the third paragraph where it says that funding for HIV and AIDS programs in Ghana is largely being shouldered by donor partners, with government making contributions in form of maintenance of the Ghana AIDS Commission and paying counterpart funds in co-financing agreements with donor partners. Now, there have, however, been gaps in funding programs such as educational campaigns and treatment. These funding gaps have increased due to, in part, of government's lack of commitment to the HIV and AIDS fight as a whole. The statement moves on to say that in 2019, even before COVID and the Russia-Ukraine war, Ghana lost more than $19 million from PEPFAR and $2 million from the Global Fund due to failure to meet its co-funding obligations. From 2021 to 2023, government had co-financing obligations of $17,138,222 million to the Global Fund, but paid only $4,202,698, leaving a balance of approximately $13 million. Now let's move on to the final paragraph where the minority is stating three key things they would want. They say, one, that they want as a matter of urgency that the issue of the necessary tax exemption waiver to ensure that immediate clearance of the antiretroviral drugs and other medical equipment and consumable is done by the Finance Ministry. The second point, they say that the implementation of an automated tax exemption waiver system for medical consumables and equipment to curtail needless delays in clearing such items at the port. Third point, the minority says the institute reforms at the Ministry of Finance and Economic Planning they are pushing for. They want to ensure it is done so that systematic failures that lead to needless delays in the performance of its functions are eradicated. And that's signed by the ranking member of Parliament's Committee on Health, Kwabna Minta Akando. Thankfully, he joins us on phone right here on JoyNews Room. Now, your statement clearly states you are disappointed in our clearing agents. You are disappointed in the Ministry of Finance. You say it is a national emergency. Tell us more.
Let me say good afternoon to your viewers and listeners as well. I state that it is exceedingly difficult, if not impossible, to see such a thing happen in any civilized jurisdiction, such that you do not have the money or the resources to fund a particular program. Then you are giving or donated free of charge drugs, antiretroviral drugs. It gets to your country, then it gets.
For the ones who work hard to ensure their crew can always go the extra mile, and the ones who get in early so everyone can go home on time, there's Grainger, offering professional-grade supplies backed by product experts so you can quickly and easily find what you need. Plus, you can count on access to a committed team ready to go the extra mile for you. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Trying to protect your identity by yourself is a lot like trying to be a quarterback without an offensive line. LifeLock alerts you to blind side threats you may miss on your own, even if you're monitoring your credit. If a thread happens to get through, a dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialist is there to help. Join now and save up to 25% your first year at LifeLock.com/aware. That's LifeLock.com/aware to save 25%. LifeLock. Identity theft protection starts here.
This week at Macy's, find your signature fall look with big savings on incredible specials. Like 30 to 50% off cool weather coats for him and her. 40 to 60% off designer suits and blazers he can dress up or down. And 30 to 40% off the season's must-have boots and shoes during the Great Shoe Sale. Or use your coupon or Macy's card and take an extra 20% off more great deals at Macy's. Savings off sale and clearance prices. Exclusions apply.
This new Wendy's Frosty flavor is way too exciting to keep under wraps. It's a brand new, first-of-its-kind flavor. Get this, pumpkin spice. I know, right? It's so good. It's rich, it's cozy. It's the perfect flavor for some fall Frosty time. Watch, everyone will see it and jump on the bandwagon. Grab a never-before-seen Pumpkin Spice Frosty or Pumpkin Spice Frosty Cream Cold Brew today when you choose wisely. Choose Wendy's.
Limited time only. Participating U.S. Wendy's. Vanilla Frosty is temporarily unavailable.
From July till this and this day. Why? Because there are certain taxes that need to be declared, whether by payment or being exempted. And this is a program that we have gained. We have made a lot of gains. We are talking about HIV and AIDS. We've made a lot of gains. Gone were the days where people were not even coming forward to take the drug because of the stigma. Now we've gotten to a point where people are willing to come and take the drug so that it could suppress the viral load and what have you, so that we could also control the spread of the HIV in this country. And the situation is even there when it comes to the finances of the AIDS Commission. Okay? There are a lot of donor partners who are ready to support the commission, but they need us to show a bit of commitment. So, for example, PEPFAR, the U.S. President's emergency plan for HIV relief, wanted to give us some amount of money in dollars, but we needed to show commitment, global fund state. So even before the COVID and then the so-called Ukraine in 2019, we lost about $21 million because we refused to show that commitment. As I speak to you now, we are still owing. And therefore, if we are not careful, next year, early next year, we are going to lose another $13 million. These are free money that we could use in education and treatment of our HIV in this country. Okay? So it is clearly the irresponsibility and the insensitiveness of the government. It is quite unconscionable, to say the least. It's quite unconscionable, to say the least. And so I do not understand how this government sees the health sector. It's a crucial sector. Yesterday we were talking about dialysis. Today we are talking about HIV/AIDS. I don't know what we'll be talking about tomorrow. Some time ago we were talking about COVID. We are talking about measles. Things that we had made gains in eradicating them from this country. Now we are going back like 10 years backwards, 20 years backwards. I can't just accept this. And so I think that we should give the health sector the priority it deserves, because these are sicknesses where the least we do will put a lot of our citizens into the grave. And it's government's responsibility to, ensure that the citizens have quality health care. So the least you do is, at least, if you cannot improve upon what you came to meet, is to sustain what you came to meet. But unfortunately, in this case, what we are seeing is that we are retrogressing. Government is pushing the citizens into the early grave, and I think we must be angry enough to confront the government.
You also want government to implement an automated tax exemption waiver system for medical consumables and equipment to curtail these needless delays in clearing such items at the port. Now, how will this stop the current challenges, really? And is it even feasible?
It is. Why is it not feasible? Why is it not feasible? Look, any public health facility in this country the main objective, it is not to make profit. Okay? It is to deliver quality health care to the citizens. So why must we tax consumables that will go into giving our people quality health care? Why must we tax them? So they must have automatic waiver. It is feasible. What are you using the money? In any case, for the past 6 to 7 years, you have been collecting taxes. What positive impact has the tax even have on the citizens of the country? You are taxing HIV antiretroviral drugs, COVID levy. And for that matter, it's been delayed at the port since July. Does it make sense? It doesn't make sense. So it is possible and feasible that even if those taxes that are international taxes like the ECOWAS and then the AU taxes must be paid by government. If we joke, we will see a spike in the spread of the HIV virus in this country. And that will be deadly. That will be deadly. And so we must better prioritize the important things. We must have our priorities right. We are building cathedral. We are investing in cathedral. Meanwhile, we cannot give HIV patients antiretroviral drugs. Which country does this?
A ranking member on the Health Committee. Is there something the committee is currently doing to solve some of these challenges?
Yeah, so we are on recess. You remember last week we were busy on the dialysis issue. We have made some steps until yesterday that we had this particular one. We issued the statement, and we hear that they will clear those drugs from the port by Wednesday, which of course I think is even too long a period, because I don't know what government cannot do within 24 hours, including weekends. Why can't we clear them within 24 hours? I mean, I just don't understand, because as I've already indicated, it is a national health emergency. But let's give it the benefit of the doubt. They are saying by Wednesday they will do that. Even at this point in time, if you want to invite the minister responsible for health or finance to the committee, we are on recess. So we are expecting that by Wednesday these drugs will be cleared, and then when we come back to Parliament, we'll have a proper conversation on this matter in order to avoid or prevent the reoccurrence of this needless delay and the needless delay, and how we are not prioritizing paying our commitment towards the donor fund.
Thank you so much, Kwabena Minta Akandos, ranking member on the Health Committee in Parliament. Now let's do other stories now. The Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, has observed the rise in an alliance of coup plotters preparing to defend themselves against the sub-regional body. According to the Commissioner of Public and Political Affairs and Security, Adel Fatou Musa, the military government in Burkina Faso is in preparation to deploy troops to Niger in defense of a possible ECOWAS intervention. Speaking at the opening of the ECOWAS observation mission in Liberia, he revealed security in these coup-plagued countries continues to deteriorate.
You see, at times, ECOWAS does not tell a story. So people keep criticizing. Our resident rep was just talking about in Sierra Leone, there is an association of coup plotters in the region that are banded together, apparently to defend themselves against ECOWAS, Mali, Burkina Faso, and others. You know, a country like Burkina Faso is even trying to deploy troops to Niger in order to prepare for an eventual intervention by ECOWAS and then things like that. You know, that's, happening at a time when the military, who overthrew democratically elected government, are overseeing the rapid deterioration of security in their own countries. You know, today, almost 60 to 70% of Burkina Faso is under terrorist control. And terrorism from there is already encroaching on the coastal countries like Benin, Togo, Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, and God knows who will be next. and then things like that. And that is under the military, okay, who were supposed to, their primary duty was the sovereignty of the state, fighting against insecurity, but they have decided to venture into the realm of governance, so their attention is divided while their countries are being overrun by terrorists. Everywhere there have been a coup, probably with the exception of Guinea, I would say, because it is not in that Sahel belt. Insecurity has worsened since the military took over. And that is why we must endure, if that's the right word, with our democratic transition, no matter the challenges. And in Liberia, this is the 20th anniversary of the official end of the Civil War.
Well, Liberians go to the polls on Monday to elect its legislators and president. For about 20 years, the once war-torn country has been enjoying peace. Ambassador Musa believes there is a need for the citizenry to give democracy a chance to grow.
I know many of our heads of state in the region, the heads of state are sitting on tenterhooks, who will be the next. Yeah, so these elections also is the other side of the picture, that democracy can work, and democracy is working in some parts of the country. Some of the coups that have occurred in the region, the reason given by the pushes is the fact that governance has not delivered, governance deficit, bad governance, and what have you, and that democracy is not working in Africa. People who are looking at the democracy in West Africa or Africa as a whole as a glass that is half empty should also note, that the liberal democracy as we know it today in Africa is barely 30 years old. 30 years is just one generation. And within that period, there have been major development that people gloss over because our memories at times are short. Before 1990s, no incumbent president in Africa could be removed from power through the ballot box. Almost all countries were ruled by authoritarian regimes, military regimes, and all that. Since 1990s, with the advent of the current liberal democracy, there have been several alternations of power in our region. That is a measure of progress. And today, in Africa, and in West Africa in particular, we have many heads of state who are still walking about freely. Before now, the former heads of state were either in prison, in the cemetery, or in exile. That is also a measure of the progress of democracy, that we have made. Not everything can be solved in one generation. And, that is why we have to encourage our brothers and sisters in Liberia to have faith in the democratic process that they are having. There are challenges, and I think the road from the airport to town is one indicator, of it, that there is still a lot to do to achieve economic development and other that go with the electoral process that we have, and that our democracy should not be reduced to just holding elections periodically, and that there must be the development dividend of democracy. And this is what ECOWAS is about in its economic integration process.
Meanwhile, Meanwhile, the leading opposition party in Liberia, Unity Party, is wrapping up its campaign today. Presidential candidate Joseph Boakai, who was once vice president, is seeking to stage a comeback after spending 2 terms in office. Already, the broad street where the party's headquarters is located is flooded with many supporters awaiting leadership of the party. Nayal Jima has been there. He gives us more.
To lead the party back into power. He's seeking to unseat George Weah, who has had just 1 term in office. So these are some of his supporters. As I said, they are wrapping up their campaign today with a massive rally. Already, the streets are filled with supporters of this political party. I'd want to zoom in straight to them and have a conversation with some of them. Madam, welcome to JoyNews in Ghana. How excited are you when it comes to Mr. Boakai's candidature?
Mr. Boakai is good leader for Liberian people. We tired suffering, the government are in power. Some of our children are in school, they in 12th grade, they're not even in school yet. Our little children are not even in school yet. For us to get rested to eat, with the business people and we suffering. You get market, say you put it on the table when you go, you say $500. Now $500, you eating it. You're not putting it in your market. A breaking time. For us to afford, we can't kill it. We suffering. Our children are not going. Good school, no school. I told him I don't in the 12th grade, but I'm not even restoring because I not get money. They come in and in power, really suffering us. We not get nothing to do, but we just want elect yourself, you might to become our good leader in Liberia.
So, according to her, Mr. Weah hasn't done enough for the people of Liberia as president. Economic situation is very bad, education is bad, everything in this country is bad. That's what she's telling me. Let's move to the other people. Now, there's a conversation out there that when it comes to security, Mr. Weah, that's the incumbent president, has done a lot for Liberians, and because of that, some people are willing to give him another term. Do you think that he has done enough when it comes to that area?
To be very honest with you, it is impossible, Honorable George Mane, we have to get a second term. Because what the people want is free and fair election. That's what we are anticipating on. But to be very honest with you, being a woman and a mother of children, you know, and all the children you have may be your biological children. Some of the children may be, sometimes we say foster children. But to be honest with you, we expect, I voted for George Mane Weah 2017. In fact, I started voting for him for 2005 election. I voted for him in 2005, I voted for him in 2011. And when the people say to us that, you know, they got a parable that they say, what the old men sit and see, the young men don't see it. We say to them that we want to see what the old people are not seeing. And that was what we did. We voted George Mane Weah in 2017. We were very happy. We demonstrated on the street of Monrovia. We told people we tired with the old folks. But then the people allow us to have our own will. In a sense, I've also know leadership, it doesn't matter about age. Age is a number. But wisdom is profitable.
So you think that if the UP should take power once again, you do better than what George Weah and his people are doing?
I've been around the world for some time. I've been to Ghana, I've been to Nigeria. Not just been there, but I stayed there. I believe when Honorable Joseph Newman Boakai take election, the youth will have a better life. For me, if I tell you I don't have a child, but I'm fighting for other people's children. I'm fighting for the future of other people's children. I don't have no child. The only daughter I have, she passed away 2020 during the coronavirus.
All right, thank you very much. You share same opinions? All right, she's not willing to speak to us. Let me talk to this young man. Sir, you're a young person, and you've seen George Weah's first term. Aren't you excited about what he has done for Liberia?
No. Absolutely no. You know, 2017, I voted George Weah. I will choose partisan of George Weah. I voted George Weah 2017, but I didn't see. I didn't see anything in George Weah regime, so I I decided to support Joseph Numa Bwaka for presidency for better Liberia. Thanks.
So, charged atmosphere within the streets of Monrovia. As I said earlier, we are in front of the Unity Party's headquarters. And as you can see, these are motorbike riders, and they are all supporters of the Unity Party. They are all expecting Mr. Bwaka to emerge winner of Tuesday's election. I have a lot of them with me. I have a lot of people who are willing to speak to us. But let's enjoy the sights and sounds of Liberia, of the streets of Monrovia. Excitement all over. Excitement all over here on the streets of Monrovia. Let's continue speaking to some of the supporters of the UP party. Gentlemen, welcome to Joy News. A lot of excitement here on the streets of Monrovia. Why is everybody excited about Mr. Bwaka's candidature?
Yeah, money, Mr. Anthony Gabriel. 2005, I was CDC, I sang a sansu, I got no profit going on. Poker, I supposed to no money. A country hard. Maybe I working a young man. I want our Sophie. I welcome election. I want Joseph to be president. I want chief for Joseph Baga. I thought with job I'll be chief for Joseph Baga to be company. I'll be working. All I want Joseph to be president for my country. I want to be a president. And not for UP.
It looks like a lot of the people I'm speaking to today once voted George Weah, but they believe that he's no longer the best person for Liberians. Therefore, they need a change. Now, the agenda for the Unity Party's campaign has been rescue mission. What they seek to do is to rescue Liberia from economic hardship. That is the conversation that is ongoing within the streets of Monrovia.
Yes, good morning. My name is David Jonah. Mary David Jonah. I too excited this morning. I from Tejan must wish West Point. They say West Point no goes do for Chilabaga, but we tell them say we share with it to do. We go now friend at them because Gifty Lama, we Gifty Lama at the other time we vote for Gifty Lama. Hey, King, that let and tell us say if anything we vote for a little child. They put at any country we vote for. As me my husband working.
No. Now, why do you think that the UP should be given a chance at to lead this country?
He is the best man in committing, in their art, in their vision. Think that blood, love to be wrong. Chowia, who voted Chowia with the Western talk. But they say, yeah, my husband working, they sack him power, no to chocolate. So I can't be behind Chowia for 6 years, in my marriage, I can't achieve nothing. My training is going to school, all right, going on for one issue, on one occasion, my vote to have a second time.
All right. There are a lot of people who believe that when it comes to security, George Weah has done very well for Liberians. Don't you share the same sentiments?
Liberia now, there is no justice for the poor. There is no justice for the poor, and there is no security for us. In the first place, the president told us that we should provide CCTV for each one of us in our houses. So we don't have no money to go and buy CCTV. So we want justice for Liberia. And we want the youth of the nation to be safe from drugs. Liberia has still a drug base. Liberia don't have respect to the outside world. So we want Liberia to be respected back to the outside world. So we are going to vote for JNB, for our children's future, and for a better Liberia. We tired with killing in our nation. We tired with armed robbers. We tired with injustices. We tired with drugs. We tired with every other thing that has to do with hardship in this nation. We are tired. We are tired, so we are going to select Joseph Numa Bwaka as our next president for the Republic of Mama Liberia.
Thank you very much. These are sentiments on the streets of Monrovia. These are supporters of UP, that's the Unity Party, led by Mr. Bwaka. But there's one thing that a lot of people in Liberia are certain about. That's peaceful election. All they are calling for is credible and a peaceful election. Let me speak to some of the people here about the peace that a lot of people are clamoring for here in Liberia. Sir, it looks like this is the 4th consecutive election that Liberia is going to after the civil war. How excited are you about the process?
I'm very excited. I'm Evangelist Jomo M. Broderick. I advocate the will of God for the presidency of the Republic of Liberia. That the president must love God with his whole heart, whole soul, whole might. That the president must love the people as he loves himself, regardless of political affiliation, religion, tribe, or disability. That the president must lead the people in a way pleasing to God. That God himself will be pleased with his style of leadership activities. That in all the president way, the president must acknowledge God, and God will direct his path. There's a way seen right onto a president, but at the end is destruction. Joseph Yuma Bwaka just fit in what the will of God requires for the presidency in the Republic of Liberia.
Now, what a lot of people are talking about now is peaceful election. What is your message for Liberians?
God, give Liberians everywhere the spirit of peace in their hearts and minds, so that we go to this election peacefully and vote for our incoming president, Joseph Yima Bwaka, a man of excellent personality, a man of excellent responsibility, a man of excellent vision that will move us from this darkness that George we are plunged us into.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now, there are continuous calls for peaceful election, and ECOWAS is doing its part to ensure.
Thank you so much, Nanaya Aljima. We are your election headquarters. We'll be bringing you full coverage of the Liberian elections on Monday. Do stay tuned to your superstation. Now, let's come back to Ghana. Long queues are often recorded at vending points of the Electricity Company of Ghana owing to intermittent network cuts. To curtail these cuts, the ECG will update offline meters onto an online consolidated management system to improve accessibility and ease prepaid payment of bills. There's more in this report.
In a bid to streamline the services and offer customers a more convenient experience, the Electricity Company of Ghana says the move aims to facilitate seamless transactions between the company and its customers while reducing the reliance on cash payments. Emmanuel Lumo is the general manager of ECG in charge of the central region.
We in the central region and all over Ghana have decided to go on this float to educate our customers on our cashless system. Just to tell customers that we have gone cashless, and for now, anytime they are coming to ECG to transact business, we do no longer receive cash. They should come with their loaded momos so that they can pay their bills. And also they can download our Power app to pay their bills and also check their bills as well. In fact, most of our customers are not aware that we've gone cashless. So we are using this medium to educate them that we've gone cashless, and they can use the mobile app to top up their credit and also pay for their bills. We want to educate our customers to tell them that we've begun with an exercise, especially in Cape Coast, to replace all our prepaid meters to a smart meter, so that at the comfort of their homes, they'll be able to top up buy unit 24/7. And also they should avoid illegal connections.
Commercial manager of the ECG in the central region, Simon Babite Ajimani, expressed the company's commitment in enhancing revenue collection practices and ensuring utmost customer satisfaction.
We don't want our customers to be coming to our offices and be queuing for our services again. So because of this, we've come out with this ECG Power app. And then we are entreating all our customers to download the Power app either through the App Store or the Play Store. You go there, you see ECG Power app, and then you download. And then anything that you want to do with ECG, if you want to top up your prepaid credits, you can do that through the Power app. You just add your meter, and then you do credit top up, and then you get it at the convenience of your home. Also, if you want any request from ECG, being it any of our services, you can do that through the Power app. If you have any complaint to and want to lodge, you lodge through the Power app. Then it is prompt. Immediately you do that, you have officers that are sitting at the back office and they are going to assess these complaints and make sure that I resolve them for you.
The strategic shift, the company says, aligns with their broader effort to improve efficiency, minimize revenue leakage, and enhance overall service delivery.
You're still watching JoyNews Room. My name is Faustina Safa. We're taking a quick breather. When we return, we'll give you updates on the 2023 National Science and Maths Quiz. Do stay tuned in.
silver iodide.
You're right.
Mark your calendars, set reminders, and get ready for the academic showdown of the year. The 2023 National Science and Maths Quiz. It's time for the brightest young minds in Ghana to battle it out for academic supremacy. Expect mind-bending equations, heart-pounding moments, and nail-biting suspense as the best schools go head-to-head. Who will emerge the ultimate champions and claim the prestigious trophy? Catch the action on TV, radio, and online starting 6th to 24th October 2023. Everyone has a story.
In fact, there was a time I decided I have to stop the music.
A story of that unique place that gives them a vibe.
Mochumio, Medasik.
It's a spiritual moment for me whenever I have to record music, because whenever the place is dark, I feel I'm in the studio alone, even without the producer.
The vibe that births excellence, special skills, talent, and mastery. Welcome to E-Vibes with Becky on this channel.
Thanks for staying with us. Now let's shift our attention to the 2023 National Science and Maths Quiz. After a fierce contest, Archbishop Porter Girls Senior High School was kicked out of the 2023 National Science and Maths Quiz by Obriyebwa Senior High School by a single point. The Portarians from the Western region were left in awe after suffering a shocking defeat from Obriyebwa Senior High School by a single point. They suffered a similar fate in 2022 after losing out to Drobo Senior High School. My colleague Nana Boachi Yadum caught up with Obriyebwa Senior High School after the heated contest. Comes through with this report.
And just as you can see, there's so...
Rolling action. Okay, so Obriyebwa Senior High School have proceeded to the 1/8 stage of the 2023 National Science and Maths Quiz. Today they came up against students from Archbishop Porter Girls Senior High School and then Samuel Oti Senior High School. They made it a win and they are proceeding to the 1/8 stage of the National Science and Maths Quiz in what came up as a fierce contest today here at the KNUST Great Hall Auditorium. So I have the contestants here with me and I'll be finding out from them what they make of the contest today and then going forward what we are to expect from them. You are a contestant. How was the contest for you?
Well, the contest today was very difficult for us because what we were expecting, that's not what we have gotten. We're timing to get 60 points at the end of the contest, but we were not able to meet that target. But we are hoping for the best in the 1/8 round.
Okay, did Archbishop Porter Girls give you a tough time today? Because from the first round to the third round, it was quite close. Was it a tough contest for you?
Yeah, actually it was a very tough contest because
I began to sweat, but it's all by the grace of God. We've been able to see ourselves through.
The fact that you began sweating means the girls really gave you a tough time, right?
Yeah, it was a very tough time, but we survived.
Okay.
Fittest.
It was a survival of what?
The fittest.
Okay, but now you are the fittest.
Yes.
Okay, so going into the 1-8 stage, what are we to expect from Obriyebua Senior High School?
Nothing but the best.
Okay, so you as a contestant, what are we to expect from you going into the 1-8 stage?
Nothing but the best.
Nothing but the best. Okay, I have the trainer for Obriyebua Senior High School. I'll find out from him as well what he makes of the contest, and then also going into the 1-8 stage, which will look like a very difficult task for every school, what we are to expect from Obriyebua. So 1-8 stage is going to be a difficult one. All the big schools are coming in. We have Presec Legon, we have Prempeh College, Opokwari School. What are we to expect from your students?
This is an academic competition, so we don't expect anything easy. We are going home to work hard, and we promise to give up a good show.
Okay, so are you prepared for Presec Legon and Opokwari School, Prempeh College, these big schools? Yeah, you're a big school though.
Okay, so if it's in case we meet those schools, we will put up a very good performance.
All right, so Obriyebua Senior High School says if they come up against Presec Legon, Prempeh College, any big school whatsoever, they are going to put up a good performance. Today, they came up against Archbishop Porter Girls. They made it a win, and they are proceeding to the 1-8 stage of the National Science and Maths Quiz. From the KNUST SHS Auditorium, my name is Nana Boache Dankwa Yadom.
In a resounding triumph, Amaniampon Senior High School beat Volta Region Sugakofe Senior High School and Krachi Senior High School to qualify for the 1-8 stage of the National Science and Maths Quiz competition. My colleague Jacqueline Antmoyeboa has been interacting with the students after an intense contest.
And just as you can see, there's so much noise behind me. And we started right with Amaniampon Senior High School, Sugakofe Senior High School, and Cratchit Senior High School. Now, Amaniampon has been leading through the contest throughout, and I have some of the students and some of the teachers here with me right now. You're one of the trainers, I believe. How do you feel right now?
Very, very great, very, very good for qualifying from this stage.
Now, let's head over to the students right here, as we can hear them jubilating right now. So let me come closer to them. We can hear students right now, and there's a lot of noise right here right now. But can you share with me, how do you feel right now? How do you feel right now?
The girls too much, so I can't explain. Kontonchi, Abwe Yakuma, the only school in Asante Kontonchi, Abwe Yakuma.
Right now, moving forward, this is not the end. What should we expect from Amaniampon?
You are going to a class straight, no bend, no curve.
Okay, all right, so we just heard from the supporters right inside the Sarah Mensa Hall, and they are saying that they are indeed going to the finals. Now I have the main contestants right here with me, who are yet to share with me how they felt on stage during the contest. Now, hello, how do you feel?
Feel so amazing.
Indeed, you look so amazing right now. But how was the contest like for you when you were on stage? Were there any panics and all that?
No, there wasn't any fear among us. We were just confined with the things we were doing. And we coped together, and at the end, we emerged victorious.
Not the end. This is just the preliminaries. We are moving on to the 1-8 stage. What should we expect from Amaniampon Senior High School?
Just the best.
We just heard from these contestants. The students from Amaniampon cannot express their excitement enough, and they are very, very positive that they would be moving on to the next stage, which is the 1-8 stage. Reporting live from the Sarah Mensa Hall, I am Jacqueline Antmoyeboa.
Well, here's today's results and also fixtures. It's